Well, Andy, it's no surprise whatsoever, but conversations about AI and all things AI are absolutely everywhere. I don't think it's just in my echo chamber, but it's actually everywhere. It's in headlines. It's talked about in boardrooms of companies both small and large. It's talked about at water cooler conversations and literally even at the dining room table with my family. So the question is, and what I want to learn from you and your practical experience in running an amazing company is, how do you get started with this and how do you build the right organization culture? You've always said it started with culture when we've talked before, and help me understand a little bit more of what you mean by that and how it works for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you for the question. It's interesting because all the things that you mentioned, we actually did it, I would say, very similar. So we literally jumped into this topic, which is, from my perspective, right, something good, because there's a lot of buzz, a lot of hype around that, and actually you don't know where to start. But I think the most essential thing is to start. I think, let me think from a very practical perspective. If you, let's do a pilot first, let's try it out here and there. No, that's too passive. I think you should be kind of really jump into it, try to understand what brings you value to this company, because you have a unique culture in your company, whatever your culture is. Mm-hmm. And this culture, if you can eat the strategy, if you start with it for breakfast, right?
Okay.
And I think this is essential. So start with the problem, maybe not with the tool. Don't think too much, is it GPT, is it Gemini, or Claude? Just start first. And I think what helped us, as a simple advice, is a hackathon. Mm-hmm. But not this technical hackathons like a business hackathon. Just business people are invited, and then you give them some tools. Hey guys, you can use these tools to solve a problem. Either you place this problem statement in the hackathon, or the workforce can bring their own problems and work on that. We haven't invited the tech guys though, and this was good because it was something new, something unique. You kind of have this activation session, right? And then people start to get, you take the fear away. Yeah?
Well, that's an interesting place to start, actually, starting with the problem or the technology. I was actually having a conversation with a colleague that I've worked with for years, and I thought back to, decades ago when people talked about digital transformation and all the possibilities, and I think we're in a similar moment. And one of the biggest lessons I learned in that time period was like, start with the problem. Like, why are you starting with technology and then figuring out what you want to solve? But really start with understanding your business problem and go from there. My friend and colleague pushed back on me and said, but most business stakeholders, they have no idea about the art of the possibility. They don't know what's now possible with AI. They don't even know what's possible with traditional automation. So how do you think about that balance when you pull in those business stakeholders into that hackathon? Many of them don't know what's possible.
It's interesting because AI is this one technology, it doesn't happen too often, where kind of the C-level support is given. And then they are pushing, hey guys, let's do something. Yeah. It's, we can do everything. And then I think especially also C-levels, they have a lot of imagination what's possible. So I think this is unique, and this is not happening too often. When you have a new technology, often you have to convince your manager, then this manager has to convince the manager. Mm-hmm. And this time it's new. It's happening more often. I think we saw it last time when the BlackBerry got replaced with the Apple iPhones. Mm-hmm. Because BlackBerry, from a technical perspective, amazing technology. Too complex.
Yep.
Yeah, too complex. The people, and then we brought up a new term called "bring your own device," and then all of a sudden everyone was running around with the Apple iPhone through the office, right? Yep. And the IT department faced the situation. Hey guys, you have to maintain that. And I think AI is very similar because AI is just another tool, and you need automations to enable that.
And do you think that's widely the case, that you have C-level people that are engaged in AI transformation as a topic? Sometimes when I talk to companies, they're actually a little bit reluctant. Like there's this fear of like, oh, are they going to train on my data? And are we really ready for that? And literally, I'm sure full-time legal departments are spending all their time thinking about how do we protect ourselves as opposed to how do we innovate for the company.
I don't think so. Okay. But look, I think you have more insights in other companies than me, right? So I can talk with them and then exchange. But what I see is they often ask us how we do that. I see this as a blueprint, and I keep on telling them, hey guys, what is the fear that you have? What is the real fear? So we know that in company management, it's risk management. What is the risk for the company? If your risk for the company is to miss an innovation because you have a lot of competition going on, maybe legal requirements and compliance is not your top priority right now.
Yep.
But if you're like a legal company or a law firm, it's your bread and butter.
Sure.
Right? So I think, and this is how you think about also AI. It's a massive opportunity, but the thing is, you decide how much this opportunity is.
Yep.
Based on the support and the environment that you give to your employees. Because, and this is exactly the second level that I observed quite often is, C-level is pushing if the support is given. If not, you have the traditional challenges.
Yep.
Digitalization, transformation. Just use every word with nation behind that, and then you can apply that as a problem statement to a company, right? And then the middle management has to execute. And what we see right now is they use AI and now AI agents as a term to increase efficiency.
Yep. And maintain their innovative capability, for sure. Yeah. Let's assume we have C-level stakeholders that are just looking around and saying, look, guys, AI, women, AI, we need this happening in our company. It's super important for our long-term success. You mentioned involving business stakeholders rather than your technical people to really understand the business problems and apply it in certain ways. You mentioned a hackathon, but I can imagine a lot of companies I work with, they're like ready to do, let's do a full day hackathon. They hack away for a day, and then they go back to the way they worked before. Like what else is necessary to fundamentally create that, what I would call an AI transformation?
You should apply this to your company. The way how we did it, this is something I can share. So what we did is we had business automation managers, like dedicated people that are responsible for automation. And then we had a meeting. It was like 30 minutes, all hands, like monthly all hands or weekly all hands. And then 2 slides, CEO, CDO, hey guys, we now double down on AI. And then like super transparent. We don't know if it's a hype. We know it's an opportunity. We know we want to be before the wave. And we will learn a lot.
Yep.
The rest we will figure out.
Yep.
And this is how we started.
So Andy, I recognize it's a little bit like having a fish describe what it's like to have water, because you've always been blessed or you've always earned this amazing company culture. But the things I've seen with organizations that have actually been able to truly adopt and transform over and over again, they have, in my mind, 3 distinct attributes. The first means that in their business, they embrace experimentation. Fast, furious, whatever it takes, let's try something new. You don't have to make a huge business case and get 10 people to sign off on it. No, instead, it's personal responsibility. Teams, departments, individuals, try something new, see if it works. And of course, that leads to the second attribute, which means they actually and genuinely embrace failure. You should celebrate failure. You should talk about it all the time. You should make it as natural as water to a fish. Yes, we appreciate failure. We appreciate the learnings that come from it. And as senior leaders, you have to be really, really thoughtful about how you talk about failure among the entire organization. So I see people that are ready to experiment. They're ready to fail, and that's totally okay. And those are the types of attributes that enable them to ensure their organization's ready for AI. And the very last piece, and I think you mentioned it as well, is they don't assume or they don't let perfect become the enemy of good. Too often we think about, okay, so we're going to do an AI transformation, so what does our ideal company look like? And let's make sure that we're striving for that. And you forget about the progress of small milestones and really embracing that progress along the way, and really understanding that little wins mean a lot, and you should stop there, appreciate what you've learned, and move along on the journey. And those are the things that I've seen many organizations. If they have those attributes in their culture, AI is just another tool and enables them to transform in new and innovative ways. And there's going to be another tool in 5 years from now they're going to absolutely be ready for.
Interesting, yeah. I agree, yeah.
All right, Andy, in your experience, how do you bring along all of those frontline employees? And maybe I'll start with an interesting question. Do you tell them that you're going to hire less people over the next few years because of AI?
it shouldn't be awkward. So if transparency is less of a lived value in the company, you should communicate in the style of the company, I would say. The way how we did it is like, as I mentioned, full transparent, how we're gonna do it, what we try to achieve, and make it very clear. If this is a success, this all AI initiatives, we will reduce the amount of employees. It was an honest answer. Or don't hire that much. This is easy to say if you have like 50, 60% growth planned for the next year. If you're struggling with like 2-3% growth in the next year, that's a massive problem. But I think there's one thing, maybe it's a German thing, but I think it's definitely a European problem for sure, demographics. So we have a lot of workforce leaving in the next 5 years. So we have a lot on the plate to achieve, to keep the same efficiency levels, just to maintain this efficiency level. We need AI or any kind of new tools that are coming in the future. Automations for sure. And I think this is the way how I think about it. And we should be honest about that, right?
Yep.
And this is a potential solution. It's another solution that can solve and bring the company into a healthy mode.
Yeah, so that transparency is absolutely refreshing, to be very clear and direct with employees about what the impact is. And you've been describing it a little bit at the macro level, but I don't know, let's pretend I'm one of those employees that have worked for you for the last 5 years.
Yes.
I've been putting my heart and energy into it. And how do you think they're likely to hear that and respond?
They have this fear, what will happen with me?
Yeah.
And I think we should answer this question as fast as possible and just be honest. Hey, we don't know the answer. We just don't know. We know the environment is changing, right? And we try to build this, we try to give you clarity on that.
Yep.
And we also don't know, but we just know this is a tool that we should not miss, because if this is a risk for a whole company, we should be honest about that, right?
Makes sense.
Because if it's a risk and you don't understand that, and you miss the suite to invest into this technology like AI or automations, then this single individual is your smallest problem. The whole company is at risk.
Yep.
And
so do you think a little bit of fear is a healthy part of an AI transformation? Like, you know,
it will
fear has
always
an
happen.
evolutionary.
Change will always generate fear.
Yes.
We are humans. We love stability.
I love it.
We don't like changes. They're like, oh, it's
Yeah.
like going to the gym, right? You're always applied to the gym, and the hard part is to go every day.
Yeah, I wouldn't know, but I heard that people that go to the gym, that's the hard part. Yeah. So how, particularly for new people entering that workforce, and as you think about the generational shift in workforce, if you were an intern today, just entering and starting your career, how would you think about embracing AI?
It's a really interesting observation that I had recently with the intern. So we have this get to know sessions, 50 minutes. You can just schedule a meeting with managers or co-founders, and then they have a very unique, for me, interesting combination of fear, because they understand very well that AI will replace first or entry-level jobs. On the other hand, they have this huge curiosity, I would like to use it. And this is a really weird combination, but on the other side, you hire people that are more on the solution side of things, and this kind of things, people that will always strive for implementation pretty fast. And now we're in a phase of hiring these interns into a full-time role.
Yeah, I know. Well, interestingly, I've been spending some time thinking about how academic institutions are responding to transformative changes of AI, because of course, they're the ones feeding in these interns and entry-level positions. And in the United States anyway, first couple of years of generative AI, it was all about how can we create systems to make sure that we track that they're not using generative AI, and how can we detect it, how can we manage it and contain it. And we've seen a couple of well-known universities in the United States actually kind of just flip course and say, look, we're embracing it. It's another tool, just like the World Wide Web was when it was initially available to education institutions. And they've actually created massive contracts with organizations like OpenAI and Anthropic that are well known. And so they're really focused on embracing individuals to have the talent to understand and leverage AI to its fullest extent. And so I think we're already, in a very short period of time, we're talking since 2022, since generative AI became massively popular, it's already kind of shifting towards this is an incredibly powerful tool, and those that have the skills and capabilities to leverage it most effectively, they're going to be growing in their careers significantly.
It's very, very interesting because I have a very similar discussions with my managers. Like, should we have a penalty for people if they use AI during interviews? So we have a technical case when we hire this automation people to automate something.
Yeah.
And I keep on saying, hey, I don't care which tools they use. If they use AI, fine. You have to decide. But still, very experienced managers, they have this question, is it something good or something bad? And I think you should just give them a direction. And the second thing that we did so far, and I did it actually by myself, is I went to our career development framework. So this is how we evaluate people, and then based on this evaluation, you have a performance, and then higher title, more salary. We just add requirement, you use AI on daily, period. Because, and I get assessed on the same framework.
Yep.
So if I don't use it and my manager would see that, I can have like a...
Makes perfect sense. But of course, agents is all the hype and a big portion of that these days in terms of how they transform organizations and get put to use inside of a company. Maybe let's start with the basics. How do you define an AI agent? Like, what is that actually?
So for me, an AI agent is a role, a job.
Okay.
So an AI agent could be, for instance, a customer care agent or a software engineer agent. The way how I think on the next level about that, it's again about KPIs.
Okay.
Right. So it's like a business automation manager or someone who is managing agents is then managing different operational agents. So we call it the human to agent ratio. This is what I pay attention to. There's a lovely study by Microsoft that you can read it up. And ultimately, this is the share that I try to understand, for instance. That's my goal with the current initiatives at Finn. What is the ratio? Is it 1 business automation manager to 10 agents? Is it 1 to 100? Is it 1 to 10? I don't know.
Wow.
And actually in software engineering, we use exactly the same. We have product manager to software engineer ratio. It's 1 to 4, 1 to 5. Excellent companies, maybe a bit more. Exactly the same we do here.
Yeah, it makes me think about, honestly, the old school management structures. You spend a lot of time thinking about how many employees does a single manager actually manage, your manager to employee ratio. And of course, if you had a very low ratio, then you've got what ends up being a very bloated middle management. And if you have a very high ratio, then you can leverage managers in a very serious ways. So do you think about like the future of management in the workplace is literally not people management, but agent management?
For some roles, yes, but to be honest, I haven't put too much thought into that. It's like baby steps. I try to do first step right, and then let's think about the next.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have this like analogy in my head where I see companies that are starting to do this, and I think of them as like orchestrators. So a single person that has a strong understanding of a business function, rather than being an individual contributor that's amazing at content writing or they're amazing at insurance claim analysis. They're actually creating their own little workforce of agents, and they're orchestrating them the same way that like a symphony conductor might.
The fun question is, what are the roles that can be automated or that we can implement with agents, with AI agents?
Right.
We don't know yet. And this is, I think, the question that we have to answer right now.
You're doing this hands-on practically. Like, have you seen lots of success with certain roles and not so much others?
Yes. So this is exactly what I tried to figure out. So what we did is nothing else. Then we went to HR, took all the roles. So we have like a significant amount of accountants, fleet process managers, software engineers, customer care agents, and then we went one by one and implemented agents. So what we see where it's working pretty well. Software engineering, really, like you can use cursor. It's like no-brainer, working seamlessly. Second is, this was a surprise, talent acquisition. So HR, but active sourcing. So sourcing for the right people on LinkedIn. This was working well. What it was working bad, to be honest, and this was another surprise, was customer care agents, which is kind of weird, right?
That's what everybody thinks of.
Yeah, everyone is trying to replace. But what we saw is maybe this was the wrong KPI. We focus on deflection rate. Yeah? But the real KPI to improve is the full time to resolution or resolution time of a ticket.
Yeah.
And what we saw also working, so was lead acquisition, like B2C or B2B lead acquisition. It's still awkward for people, for humans, to talk with the agent, even though the voice AI is pretty well.
Sure. Yeah, there's certain skills that actually become more important in the age of AI, things like empathy and be able to connect with somebody on a personal level. That those actually become premium attributes, which AI doesn't do as well.
I agree, but also disagree. Empathy is something AI was doing pretty well. And the thing is, they don't have a bad day.
Yeah.
They can work 24/7.
That's true.
Yeah. It's still, we as humans, we are not, I think we will try again in a year and a half, and then we will see how or our customers adapt to that.
You know, as we think about basically how workforces are transformed and work differently, there's something that comes to mind that actually worries me a little bit. And the analogy is, you know, for long times, I've been working with customers all over the world where you take a business process and they're like, it used to be, we want to digitize this process. And now we want to automate this process. And now we want to add AI to this process. But if you take a crappy business process and you digitize it, you end up with a crappy digitized business process. So that's the analogy that I'm thinking about all the time. And I'm thinking about it in terms of how we design and operate organizations. So we've got an organizational structure, like if you think about management techniques, they've been around like 80-something years, like total quality management, many of these different ways of approaching how do you build and run a company. Those are all human-oriented. It's not even conceptualized in the world of AI agents. And I worry that we're trying to take a huge new technology like AI agents and adapt it to an existing way of thinking about how to run a company. And we actually just need a completely new paradigm altogether, which doesn't deal with organizational charts and it doesn't deal with manager to employee ratios, and it maybe looks at something completely different. Hopefully the customer's at the center of that org chart, if you will. But I think about that a lot. I worry people are about to be in a trap of taking their existing business management philosophy and just throwing AI on it and ending up with like a crappy approach.
Do you think it's a problem? So for me, it's not a problem. So I like and hate the statement of digitalizing a shitty process. It's not bad per se. So if you think from a process perspective, you're right, 100% agree. Then it's not solving the problem. But if you think about an agentic world where you don't know which process to digitalize, this is our approach at Fin, is we take the role, let's say a customer care agent, and then automate a certain task of this role. You often see this in job description. Your job is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
And then we start with the first one, you automate that, and you instantly see that you automate this one task, which is part of a process. So you automate the shitty process. The thing is, it's a different approach. You're tackling this problem from the human perspective. And now this AI capabilities are human equivalent. So they can generate, analyze things, they can generate images, videos, all this kind of thing. And this was the missing piece all the time. This was the missing piece to do that. I don't know about the organization design yet, because this is something we will see in a year or two. The good news is, if you don't do AI today, you don't have to worry about it, because then your company is over and then
it's done.
Someone else will do it, because they can do the same business and run the same business for much less money and cheaper, so they will outperform you on the market.
Yeah, the thing is that so many of these business processes, like they are human-centric processes, which means the way that most business processes, and I'm talking about, it doesn't matter if you work at Coca-Cola or a small startup with 3 people, the way a business process evolves over time or basically gets established is literally the path of least resistance. And that's how a business process comes about. Yeah. It's almost never come about by like, what's the best customer journey for our customers? And somebody actually sitting down and thinking about the best customer journey and then applying AI to it. And so I worry about just automating the path of least resistance for humans in an AI-centric world. It doesn't seem like it's going to add up to long-term success.
You're right. But on the other hand, for me, it's fine. You know why? Because it's easier to scale automations.
So, Andy, I'm super lucky because I get to travel all over and meet with all sorts of different types of customers, literally across every single industry. And I kid you not, I still reflect on this all the time, that many companies are still automating like it's 2015. And 2015 is a long time ago in the tech world for sure. Why do you think it is, and what would be the concrete things that you would encourage them to do to really help embrace this AI transformation?
Yeah. So I think they don't do it on purpose. I think this is still a lot of leftovers from this efficiency game. After the pandemic situation, then a huge efficiency focus by all the big companies. Mm-hmm. So I think this efficiency mindset is still in the companies.
Okay.
Right? That's the main reason. And I think what they do now, what is the new part, is they use this AI tag to get basic automations, to really get what they're ultimately interested in is efficiency.
Yeah.
Because they have less workforce or less budget, something like that, but they try to achieve the best what is possible with their given resources. And that's the reason. Yeah. And they often use AI to get the budget, but if you're interested in how to really implement AI, is you have to start now because you're already too late, right? And how you're gonna do that is you take the company credit card, you go to the respected service, you book this, you need an automation platform, horizontal automation platform, then you need an AI, you decide GPT Gemini, and then you equip your, very important, business people. Ignore the engineers. The engineers, they have their cursor, windsurf. Don't focus on them. All good. I know that's the biggest cost bucket in a SaaS company. Mm-hmm. Then you equip your business people to use that. And if there's a big fear to kind of replace themselves, then you try to equip interns or young, positive people, fresh-minded people, and equip them with these tools. And then they can start, so you can learn as an organization. And later, let's say the existing workforce will adapt slowly, step by step.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah, I often think about in the engineering world, people talk about 10x engineers, and if you're lucky enough to have worked with them, you know them when you see them. They have this 10x impact across every other engineer. I think that same concept applies in other parts of your organization. Yep. With business people. There are 10x, if you pardon the pun, but there are change agents in your company that are 10x change agents. And when they adopt a technology like AI, they're going to have 10x the impact, and they're going to be outperforming their colleagues. And finding those people, those like diamond in the rough, empowering them, and enabling them to fail, the rest is history.
The interesting part is the 10x people, they will use these tools. If you try to apply this tool to the whole workforce, they will just push back.
Yeah.
The 10x people, the one that are really moving the numbers in your P&L, mm-hmm. They use this tool intuitively.
And they actually use it, even if your company doesn't embrace AI, they're going to be using it regardless.
Yes, and you just don't know about it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Andy, I loved hearing the practical advice you have for somebody that's led an organization and created a culture inside of your company that is just like a fish in water, where you're just eating, breathing, and living business agility. You're figuring out how to do things fast, do things better and more efficiently, and empowering people to do those sorts of things. So thanks for spending some time with me to really dive into that, and I'm looking forward to future conversations.
Thank you for having me. It was really fun. Yeah.